Alright, hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between HayPro and Chita Prime here on Metalopolis. We have, Chita Prime spawning as the blue Protoss player at the 8 o'clock position. Meanwhile, we have Liquid HayPro spawning here as the red Zerg. So Zerg versus Protoss here on Metalopolis. It should be a very strong, very well played match here between these two players. I'm looking forward to it. Don't want to give any hints away. Some guys might say Terran is going to win this battle, and yeah, they'd be wrong. Anyway, so Liquid HayPro spawning over here at the 3 o'clock location, just currently building up some drones. We do see a pylon being built, and it will be built on the low ground. So what we may see is a forge here, then followed by a nexus here, and then maybe even a cannon here. I'm not exactly sure about the positionings. I'm sure Chita Prime, being the Korean professional that he is, knows exactly what his build order is going to be, and I can see his building placement and go ooh, ah, as I look at them. HayPro now moving out with this one. Overlord knows that it is not spawning at the 12 o'clock location. Meanwhile, I'm curious to see what HayPro will be doing, if he is going to try to go for a 14 hatch or a 14 spawning pool. We do see that forge is now being placed down right there. So as I expected, there should be enough room for a nexus here as these probes now make their way out across the map in order to do some scouting. Wow, so 2 probes now scouting, one scouting in the clockwise direction, one scouting in the counterclockwise direction, and wanting to make sure that they are able to find each other. A little bit curious as to why this probe is scouting in this direction, as this one probe, will it be able to see the Overlord on the minimap? It does, just barely, for a split second. And now we see the drone making its way over here, and now the probe coming in. So 2 probes entering into the Zerg base. 2 probes entering into the Zerg base will be able to get as much sight as they want. More drones still being just mining their business, mining their minerals, and we'll be able to also get up a queen in just a moment. Are we gonna get a hatchery down here? No, massive number of pylons. Wow, okay, I need to rewind that. As I was looking into the Zerg base, I didn't even see. So yeah, taking a look back, we now saw that the reason why there were double probes. The reason why there were double probes was in order to stop any Zergings from being able to head down this ramp. On top of that, he is then going to use that pylon push ability and then make its way into here. And now there will be enough room for a photon cannon there. A queen needs to head out, and now we see a roach warren already coming in. No photon cannons in play just quite yet. One on the low ground, one on the high ground. Spine crawler now morphing in. Spine crawler takes a little bit more time than a photon cannon to warp in, so that spine crawler, however, I believe does attack a little bit more quickly. Not sure why he would even consider putting in a pylon here. He needs to get in a cannon, as you cannot warp in buildings onto creeps. Now these drones making their way over do see that the cannons are there. Probe was able to barely escape that somehow, and now those drones are trying to make their way over, getting another pylon here, and now in comes the queen. The queen has in fact taken down that one unit, and now these cannons need to take down onto that high ground. However, with no sight, that is going to be a problem. So you can see that one photon cannon just getting slashed to death as another photon cannon coming over here. So these photon cannons are trying to take down these drones, and the drones are getting taken down one at a time. The queen is a little bit in trouble, trying to in fact go after that one spine crawler there. The spine crawler is taking some damage, but Liquid HayPro doing a great job, able to fend off this attack very easily, as those spine crawlers seem to be attacking in sync. The impaler tentacle does deal more damage, and now unable to see up onto that spine crawler. So the spine crawler actually has more sight, and this cannon rush has failed. So failed cannon rush here on Metalopolis, as now we see Chita Prime going to open up with a standard expansion now. So an expansion down, the roaches will be able to get a lot of even more kills. Taking a look at the harvester count, 13 harvesters compared to 19. You saw that HayPro did lose one of his early queens, and that was a problem, as he was unable to spawn larva, and now he really needs the power drone in order to get back into this game, especially now that Chita Prime does have or will have 2 nexuses and have the benefit of an additional amount of energy for chrono boosting in order to power probe even further. You currently see him sitting on about 20 probes here, and that is mining pretty effectively, and now continuing to chrono boost even further. One pylon over here will quickly get taken down, And now Chita Prime is currently supply locked, or will be as soon as that one pylon does get taken down. Well, another pylon quickly being warped in to replace it. We also see some photon cannons coming in order to act as a little bit of protection. Very, very smart by Chita to warp in a pylon along this side, so Zerglings are unable to run through. So if any Zerglings want to try to run by, they will have to run in between these two photon cannons here, suffering a large amount of damage. We do see one drone and an Overlord currently in the base, and basically the Overlord able to get as much sight as he wants to, as another cannon now being warped in as well. So it looks as though we're going to see more standard play coming in from both of these two players now, as one Spine Crawler I believe that Spine Crawler is still regenerating life. So if you did not know this, Spine Crawlers, when they're Zerg buildings, when they're on creep, or when they're off of creep, at least when they're rooted, they take damage. But a Spine Crawler, when it's unrooted, actually heals even if it's not on creep. So that is an interesting thing to note, as roaches are now trying to or push in through this backdoor location here. Another pylon now going to be warped in to make sure that no units are going to be able to run by, and the roaches are unable to get any damage onto that gateway. A photon cannon, a range of 7, roaches a range of 4, and then a gateway with a diameter of 3. So those units will always take damage. But now Liquid HayPro taking the opportunity in order to expand into a third base over here on the high ground 4.5 location on Metalopolis. This may become a very, very long game now, as both players are playing Sim StarCraft and just trying to get a strong economy. I read some comments recently where people don't know what I mean when I say Sim StarCraft. When I say Sim StarCraft, I'm basically saying a game where they're just trying to build up the perfect city, build up a very, very strong economy, being able to build up a lot of buildings that really don't do that much in order to destroy your opponents until they start building a very large army. You can see both players definitely playing Sim StarCraft right now. 150 mineral army coming in from Liquid HayPro. Meanwhile, Chita Prime sitting on a 0 mineral army. So that is, if that is not Sim StarCraft, I do not know what is. Drones now making their way back down over here. We now see another queen currently being trained, and HayPro running off of 3 hatcheries with 3 queens will get all the larvae he needs for quite some time, especially as he techs into tier 2 in order to get those higher food units. Back in the base, we see one stalker chasing after the Overlord. The Overlord will get shot down relatively easily. Poor, slow moving Overlord. Overlord, however, was able to get sight of this one Stargate and perhaps some of those gateways as well. So I'm taking a look at the vision. Yeah, able to see 2 of the gateways, unable to see this one, and was also able to see this gateway here. So Chita now going into a massive gateway build. 1 gateway on the low ground with 6 gateways on the high ground, and now getting an additional pylon in order to make sure that all of his buildings are doubly powered. Another pylon needs to be built somewhere around here in order to make sure that this one pylon doesn't get shut down, shutting down 3 production buildings. Back in the base of HayPro currently just enjoying his power droning. Now you can see his harvester count has caught up and now has finally surpassed Chita Prime. Chita Prime now getting the level 1 weapons upgrade and also going for the robotics bay. So what I believe Protoss is trying to do right now, he's trying to get all of those very, very expensive units. He may try to go for Colossi and Immortals. Colossi and Void Rays. Both of those are very, very strong units. The Void Rays deal a lot of damage towards Ultralists, deal a lot of damage towards Broodlords as well. Not very effective against Mutalisks, but that's what the Stalkers with Stalker Blink are for. Able to get underneath those Mutalisks and shoot them out of the sky, as those Mutalisks do not have that many hit points. Roach activating 1 Xel'Naga Watchtower here, as we have Creep Tumors still being spread out. So HayPro doing a good job now spreading out his Creep Highway. His Creep Highway will be fully developed, at least on this half of the map, in just a moment, as now sentries and stalkers move up onto this high ground location and try to take up a 3rd base as well. Overlord coming in and quickly gets sight of that Nexus, and now getting shooed away by those stalkers and those sentries. But HayPro able to see everything he wanted to see in that engagement. Currently, level 1 weapon upgrade nearing completion on its research. We may get the armor upgrades as well, as we are now training double Colossi. So double Colossi production And this is interesting. I rarely see double Colossi production, but it is something you can do off of 2 bases. It just means that you will be sitting on a larger amount of minerals, which was a perfect opportunity for him to set up this expansion here and setting down a lot of cannons, a lot of getting those assimilators and pylons, and by doing this, spending the additional minerals he may have had. Back here, HayPro now going in for a 4th base, as his main base may start to be mined out sometime soon. And now we see a Spire. So Spire being placed down, Hydralisk Den is already out, and now training up 13 drones. So this economy will all of a sudden come in from HayPro, and he will have a very, very strong base, or a strong economy in just a moment, sitting on 85 drones right now, getting a very, very strong economy. And even though the losses, if you take a look at the losses, Chita Prime definitely in trouble, but now there are roaches coming in over here, able to pick off many of those photon cannons. Sentries now coming in, a Colossus able to get some damage, but with no extended thermal lance range, needs to try to pull back. Hydralisk, and now just getting picked apart there, as those force fields were absolutely critical. And now the losses are racking up for HayPro. So spoke too soon. I thought HayPro was going to have a little bit of an advantage, as he has the stronger economy and the stronger army, but that is no longer the case. Very, very well played by Chita Prime. Chita Prime once again reestablishing these photon cannons as a base defense, making sure that a straggling Zergling, Baneling, or 2 aren't able to have their way with so many probes. Back over here, Stalkers now on the move, but those Stalkers are going to have problems, especially against movement speed Roaches and movement speed Zerglings. Zerglings now getting a surround over here. Roaches now giving chase, able to pick off. However, the Colossus extended thermal lance range now fully upgraded, and now we are getting the level 2 upgrade attacks, and now getting Psystorm in addition to the level 2 ground weapon upgrade attack. Stalkers trying to come in, Roaches now coming in over here, and those Roaches are going to be able to start dealing a lot of damage across Zealots and Stalkers. Roaches once again trying to pull back. Will they be able to push in once again and perhaps deal damage towards those Colossi? Colossi now trying to move away, able to walk over its own friendly units, as well as those Roaches are now finishing off many of these Stalkers over here. Production though, an additional 15 Roaches now being produced, so a 30 food army currently being hatched, as we have 15 Roaches currently in play already, now going after one very low hit point Colossus. Second Colossus may get taken down in just a moment. That Colossus dancing back and forth between those two ledges, and now it is taken down. And Chita Prime getting caught out of position will quickly get flanked by multiple Roaches, and this one hatchery, I believe, will be saved. It's going to cut it down really close, down to 88 hit points, and then saved. We now see Overlords making their way over, and the Overlords do have the Ventral Sax upgrade, so they will be able to do a straight drop into the base here on Metalopolis. I do not believe Chita Prime is expecting this at all. We do have Burrow currently being researched, and we are also getting Corruptors as well, and also getting that Infestation Pit, trying to ensure that those Corruptors have a way to deal damage by upgrading 2 Broodlords, at least deal damage back to the ground. Overlords now making their way over here. Back, we do see one Phoenix. So that one Phoenix is going to try to shoot down multiple Overlords, but those Overlords, I believe, have no armor. So what will be happening here with these Overlords? The Overlord just sitting off on this side. Perhaps he's going to try to do a very, very strong timing attack. Trying to do a little bit of a distractionary attack over here at an expansion on the high ground, as HayPro now expanding into 2 bases at once. Overlords now make their way over. The Phoenixes one Phoenix will be able to spot this, and now is the army trying to respond? No, oh, they're getting stuck behind those own High Templar, and that is a problem, as mass Roaches now in the base of Chita Prime. Chita Prime now in trouble, and a lot of those probes have been transferred already, and now going after the robotics bay and the robotics facility, trying to get those shut down. One Immortal will pop out, but that Immortal is caught in the side of a very, very large army from HayPro, and now we see that Chita Prime taking this opportunity to just attack as well. So both sides dealing damage towards each other, but I believe that HayPro will definitely come out ahead in this engagement. But we now see the Amulet research in addition to a Dark Shrine, so we may get some Dark Templars warping in here in just a moment. Currently does have a couple ways to warp in some Dark Templars. Will they be coming in? I don't see them anywhere production wise. More Stalkers being warped in, as this hatchery down over here has been destroyed. Roaches now making their way over here to offer a little bit of protection there, as this Nexus now getting placed down. Back over here, the Roaches still swarming straight into the base, now trying to take down that Dark Shrine. Dark Shrine does get taken down before one Dark Templar was ever trained, And now Immortals and Stalkers trying to make their way up onto that high ground. A few production buildings left, I believe. Yeah, the Cybernetics core and the critical key building is down over here, as the Roaches are going to try to engage. The Roaches, however, are going to be able to move faster. I don't see any additional Overlords in the group, and now this Nexus was canceled. We now also see a Greater Spire coming into play, so that does mean we will have even more fighting with Broodlords, as the Roaches now are going to be able to regenerate and come back to fight another day. Beautifully done by HayPro. HayPro deciding that instead of an evac would be a better call at this point. No, now just moving out with these Roaches. Roaches just swarming up once again. Perhaps a Psystorm would be very, very critical or very useful in this fight so far. Production-wise, we now see the Zerg level 3 Carapace upgrades as those Roaches are trying to take down this Forge, as the Forge is currently researching the level, I believe, level 1 armor upgrades, and now cleaning up the rest of this. There is currently one Phoenix in this group, and now the Overlords on their way out after they have pretty much destroyed the main base. Chita Prime somehow still in this as well. His economy still very strong, sitting at 1600, as we have one observer just flying over here, gaining sight. We do see that there is an Overseer able to spot that out. We now also see, well, I believe that was a Roach that was not burrowed for some strange reason, and getting quickly taken out once again. High yield minerals currently being long distance mined by one lonely drone making that trek. Also, HayPro currently sitting on one hatchery down over here. Will be able to get some spine crawlers, act as a little bit of base defense, but this hatchery is already low on hit points. And HayPro at this time, as long as he's able to get a strong enough economy going and perhaps keep this base or prevent Chita Prime from taking this base, does have the advantage. Army advantage, HayPro sitting on twice the army size than Chita, and also income advantage also belongs, or I believe HayPro does have the income advantage just because he has additional harvesters. He may be in the process of transferring some of those to a new location, or he may simply just be oversaturated somewhere. Level 2 weapons upgrade currently being researched as well. Level 3 missile attack, level 3 ground carapace upgrade, so those Roaches will be able to deal 22 damage per attack with a base of 4 armor, and now in come 7 or 6 Broodlords. Those Broodlords going to come in and deal a lot of damage. Broodlings now trying to give chase as those Roaches and Hydras are slithering their way across this non-creep ground, making it very, very difficult for them to try to engage. And now in comes those Psystorms. So beautiful Psystorms coming in. And wow, HayPro may have just simply given this whole entire army away. Multiple Roaches are getting picked off as there is one observer, and now the army advantage size is even. That was absolutely huge, as those Stalkers and Roaches are once again trying to engage. Stalkers are upgraded 2-1. Roaches are now upgraded 3-3 along with Hydralisk, as those Broodlords are now continuing to give chase. There are some static defense here at the natural expansion, as both players are trying to retreat just a little bit and trying to get regroup together. Stay tuned for part 2 of this replay between HayPro and Chita Prime here on Metalopolis as I get a drink of water.